Namaskar and welcome everyone. Handloom Day is a great opportunity to stop and ask ourselves, why can we not build on our unique strengths instead of blindly copying dominant trends? Indian weaves have so much going for them. Aesthetics and originality apart, the organic fibers, the natural dyes, the hand powered looms, all of them tell a story that's in perfect sync with a global campaign against greenhouse gas emissions. Our speakers today, each one a master of his or her craft, will take us through all that makes Indian handlooms unique and unparalleled. But before that, I request Chairperson Usha Rani Manne to light the auspicious lamp and deliver her welcome address.
Eminent guests, Gaurang Shah, Padma Shri Awardee Chintakindi Mallesham, Madhusood, Mamata Reddy, Rajesh Kishore, fellow chairpersons, past chairs, my dear FLO members and viewers. Namaste. Indian handlooms are much more than just textiles. They're a representation of our unique cultural heritage. They hold a mirror to our social ethos. The spinning wheel was a touchstone of the Indian independence movement and became an indelible image of the peace-loving peoples of India. On the loom, it is an enduring symbol of our strive for self-reliance. Despite the onslaught of automated machines, handlooms, and handicrafts continue to represent India's soft power. As the second largest source of employment generation after agriculture, the sector provides employment to 31.45 lakhs households. It is all the more relevant to us at FICCI Ladies Organization that 70% of the workforce in this sector is made up of women. Today's conversation has been organized in commemoration of National Handloom Day that was celebrated India-wide on the 7th of this month. The response for it was wholehearted across all 17 chapters of FLO, reflecting our solidarity and upholding the One FLO mission. The participation of our chapter members has been collaged into a beautiful film that I feel proud to showcase here. IT team, please play the film. Lovely video and lovely ladies and lovely views. Post our last Power Hour with Professor Rita Bahuna Joshi and Sweta Kesneni, we witnessed the launch of FMC Hyderabad. The FLO mentorship cell is by FLO members and for FLO members and offers programs to groom both mentors and mentees. Cross-chapter knowledge collaborations will also be facilitated by FMC. Together with our incubation services, this will make for a wholesome platter of growth opportunities for our members. Do take advantage of the services and facilities coming your way. We participated in the Haritaharam program of Government of Telangana on the 9th of this month, wherein 300 saplings and tree cards were donated by our members to the value of over 50,000 rupees. Thank you all for your generosity. Ahead in the month are very promising evening of poetry, Sham A Kavita on 16th, the launch of our handicraft support initiative on 25th, the first in our series, Game Changers with past chair Rekha Reddy on 28th. YFLO is taking us up close and personal with Shabana Azmi on 21st. So mark your calendars, ladies. It is an exciting second half in August. I'm grateful to our speakers today for so graciously obliging our request to share their stories, learnings, and observations on the Indian handloom industry. I'm sure it will be a very interesting couple of hours. Before I hand you over to Priya, I would like to wish you all a very happy and safe Independence Day. Hoping we will soon enjoy freedom from COVID-19. Many thanks to the thousands of COVID warriors who are putting their lives online to protect us. The least we can do is follow their guidelines for personal and community safety. Jai Hind. Over to Priya.
Thank you, Usha. We would now like to honor our speakers with a humble token of our gratitude. Slides, please, IT team. Thank you, IT team. And now over to Madhu Sood to initiate the conversation on the handmade life, survival and revival of Indian handlooms. Over to Madhu.
Thank you, Priya. Before I begin, I want to congratulate you, Usha, for that beautiful presentation of all the ladies with the fantastic saris. What a beginning. It really was marvelous. Thank you. In India, when we use the word handloom, we always refer to a fabric, when actually it is the machine on which the fabric is woven. We use pit looms and shuttle looms here. Of all the heritage, can you hear me? Of all the heritage arts and crafts of India, traditional handloom textiles are probably the oldest. Weaving is closely followed by printing, evidence of which dates back to the 18th century. Handlooms, as the wearers know, are cooler in summer because of weaving techniques. They breathe and they absorb sweat as well. They're also warmer in winter, as the weave allows the body heat to be trapped. In the 19th century, a Kashmir shawl was one of the rarest and most beautiful gifts that could be offered to any woman in the civilized world. Those who have experienced handloom fabric on their bodies will always pay a little extra to buy a shawl woven by hand rather than a cheaper one woven on the machine, perhaps with the same yarn. It just doesn't feel the same or give the same warmth. We belong to a very special country which wove the first fabrics known to man. Though it is not exactly known when weaving began, we do know through historical records that weaving in India was known about 8,000 years before Christ. There are evidences to show that Indians knew the art of weaving more than 5,000 years ago. The fact that Egyptian mummies that are 5,000 years old, that's 3,000 years before Christ, have been found wrapped in the finest Indian silks and muslins show the highly artistic skills of our weavers in the past. India is also known to have produced the finest cotton from time immemorial and is regarded as the place where cotton manufacturing took birth. Banaras brocades, damasks, balucharis, butidar saris, scarves, fine muslins from Dhaka, jamdanis, and pieces of the finest hand weaving and dyeing of cloth in India. Many mentions have been made in the travelogues of visitors like Fayan, Huansang, Worthine, Bermier, Marco Polo, to name a few. Also, the number of Indian textile terms assimilated into the English language and used internationally now bear testimony to their origin. Chintz, palampur, pajama, seersucker, dungaree, khaki, shawl, to name a few. We know of the remarkable understanding and the high standards of spinning and weaving during the Vedic age and the Ramayana and the Mahabharata periods. The perfection of fabrics has been finely written about. The appreciation of fine arts and textiles of the Hindus reached its climax during the Mughal regime. Dhaka muslins and fine silks dictated the fashion of the Asian and European aristocrats right up to the end of the 18th century. All these, each and every one of them, was woven on the handloom. Then too, unfortunately, these very high-end fabrics were out of the reach of the average person. They were afforded by the rich only. But, that's something that happens to anything that reaches a very high level. Of course, they were weaving for the regular person also. What was woven for the royalty, the Mughal emperors, and the viceroys later, they were given special names like Abarivan, Shabnam, Sharbati in the muslin categories. Every one of you must have heard of a very interesting description by travelers of flowered muslins, which were embroidered along the weft. This was what we know as jamdani. It was not an embroidery; it was a weave which had been, finessed by the Dhakai jamdani weavers, and it became more than any other weave synonymous with the Muslim dyeing skills. But it's the textiles worn and used on a day-to-day basis that really form the backbone of our textile industry. Saris of myriad types that exhibit fine weaving, delicate textures, beautiful colors, and rich patterns. Each of these styles influenced by a local way of draping. These evolved as traditional clothing, where aesthetic prevailed instead of fashion. They were woven mostly in either cotton or silk. Rich formal wear, and the two legendary weaves of central India, that is Chanderi and Maheshwari, wove blends of the two fine yarns produced in India, that is silk and cotton. Daily wear saris, usually woven in cotton, produced elsewhere, included checks and varying stripes, or a solid color, often made iridescent by the use of weaving the warp in one color and the weft in another. Many times, embellishments like printing and Kalamkari were added, combining two sets of skills to create interest for the buyer. These are our handlooms. We still have this treasure, but they have survived thanks to the weavers who wove them and the patrons who paid for them. There are approximately more than 43 lakh handloom weavers in India as of now. A lot of them live in poor conditions. But we hope someday we'll be able to change that. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhu. Thank you, Madhu, for taking us down the ages. I'm not exaggerating, but I had really goosebumps as you narrated the historical heritage of our handlooms. No wonder then that the world learned the art of weaving and dyeing from us. So we would also want to know many other things from you. If we are indeed the world capital for handlooms, why are they so expensive to own? And if they were more affordable, I don't think any of us would look at buying anything but handlooms.
That's so true, Usha. All of us who are besotted with handlooms really wouldn't buy anything else. But the fact is, as you know, especially since you are a wearer and you live in a state which has the maximum variety of handloom production, handlooms are expensive because of the procedures that go into it. It's not something that a machine does once the yarn is introduced and runs on its own. There are dyers, there are spinners, there's a whole series of people attached to the work ethic. Without them, you will not have this production. It's the quality of yarn also, and the number of days that it takes to produce a particular style of fabric. You can't have it any cheaper than I think it is at the moment. And we have to educate people to understand that.
True. I agree with you. And thanks to our social media, both the government and non-governmental sectors have run campaigns that have attracted a lot of attention and traction for Indian weaves. How far do you think this has translated in real terms? Or to put it simply, in generating sustainable livelihoods for our weaving communities?
Well, to be honest, I think it was a wonderful movement on part of the government to make the country more aware of the handlooms. But I don't really see much difference in the usage at the moment. And I feel there is a reason for it. You see, I'd like to share that much is talked about continuity and sustainability in the field of Indian craft and textile. Many organizations have been started to try and uphold and continue these crafts. And these crafts, as you know, have survived on their own through millennia. You ask what we can do to sustain them. Along with the high levels of the purity of the craft, what we must also do is innovate to give the market items that the contemporary world wants. I feel it's not enough to just say that these are our treasures, these are our heirlooms, we have to save the weavers. To be practical, it doesn't sell the product to non-lovers, people continue to buy it. My money is entirely spent on textile. It's a phobia with all of us. But to the uninitiated, And most of them out there are in that category today. So I feel, that we have to do a lot of innovation with the weavers. There's already enough of the old out there. This is so true of our older crafts. So if it has to grow, it must come out with new design, new ideas for usage, while of course remaining faithful to the purity of their craft. Because it's an evolution that lies continuity. We must acknowledge that if we need to promote and popularize our handloom textiles. We also need to find new ways of making them attractive to buyers. People should come and want to buy what you are creating or selling. The biggest failing is when someone says, oh, I already have that, or I've seen that before, or for the young, it's too old fashioned for me. You have to create something that they must want. They must vie for it. So today I feel the person who designs is very important. The craftspeople are important because they know all the techniques and they have the history in their blood. But the designer is more important today in a way, because craft tends to die a slow death if it doesn't grow innovatively. Not that it doesn't sell, but there's no rush for it. So if you want to make it a bigger thing and get people to buy it, I think we need to go down this road. We need to project and market our handlooms in a different manner. It's not a good comparison, but it's a comparison. It's like people have become aware of having to pay more for organic vegetables, basically, and they are now willing to do it. It's the way it's been marketed and explained to them. So it's the age of marketing. We already have a product in our country that cannot be aced, yet people don't seem to be looking at it in the right way. If this can be achieved and make money for the artisan in the long run for the craft, more money keeps business moving. This time, the world is a much smaller place because of the interaction in the media. Nations share ideas and are influenced by global trends via the new trade routes. The new trade routes are fashion magazines, fashion shows. So when you evolve a craft, you have to take all this into consideration, I feel.
Of course. Yeah, it is very clear that preserving the rich legacy of our weavers and ensuring our skilled weavers are not driven to seek employment elsewhere is the responsibility on each one of us. And honestly, it doesn't take much to do it. So, what is your take on how we as a nation can come together to ensure that the handloom industry lives on, and can mindful purchasing by us recreate the glorious times?
Usha, I traveled to Vietnam about 3 years ago. They have a small handloom industry. It's very, very minimal compared to ours. Ours is incomparable with any industry in the world. But we don't promote it like they promote it. Am I interfering with something?
No.
We need to promote it. We need to market it better. We need to attract young designers to work with it so that people in different categories can afford to buy from it. It doesn't have to be clothing only. It can go into, furnishings. There are so many things you can do with a textile. I feel the marketing and the designing is what needs to be given a lot of stress in this age. And if a lot of us put our heads together, there are so many enthusiastic groups. I am sure we can come up with a model like that. Thank you.
Just a minute. A small technical issue, just a minute.
It's okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Madhu, for those very interesting observations. And I know they have come from a space of deep passion and study and extensive work in your case. So there's so much we are taking back from you today. And I think, Pranay, Priya, can you, there are some slides to be shared by
The progress of handlooms through the
Yeah,
ages
Madhu
in
wanted
India.
us to, do you want us to share that, Madhu?
Why not? We can, everybody can have a quick look.
Maybe you can talk over it, Madhu, a little bit so that.
Yes, I would like to. So these are the earliest, some of the earliest Stone Age carvings which show fabric drapes on people. It testifies to the fact that we were already weaving in those ages. And everything till the 18th century was woven on the handloom. There was no other loom in the whole world. A little further down the ages, these on the left, there is this diagram of the frescoes at Ajanta Ellora. You can very clearly see bandhani on the dupatta. Even then, this had been developed. In the center one, you have, these are the figures of the Mughal courts. Do you see, of course, the cotton, the prints, and the widespread use of the muslin fabric, the transparency of the muslin. That was the beauty. And on the right hand, there is a figure of an ashram where students are studying from their guru. They were the regular people who wore their cotton hand-woven fabrics in all the colors. All the colors were vegetable dyed in those days. There was no chemical dye. Look at the brilliance of the colors that have been retained till today. Next one, Priya. Again, these are early Stone Age pictures of the Stone Age in India. You see similar garments to what are worn today, slightly in an older style, but I might add that a lot of things on the ramp that are seen today might look vaguely familiar to the lady in orange, especially. Next. Again, from the Mughal courts, the men wearing their jamas, their robes, their jackets, and again, the beautiful muslin, the transparency of the muslin. It was used frequently in those days. In fact, as I mentioned in my talk, during the Mughal era is when the jamdani and the muslins reached their highest pinnacle of weaving. They had the patronage for it. Court dancer on the right. And again, these are general pictures moving down the ages, how clothing evolved. On the right hand, there's a series of saris from different states, all woven by hand. Stitched clothing, as you can see, has now come in. Here we come to the common era, the current stage. You will find the looks familiar. All handloom weaves, including the linen printed sari on the right. Yes, Priya? Now we see, again, handloom weaves being showcased at the Lakme Fashion Weeks and some of the other ramps, and a modern young girl in her pants and trousers with a chanderi stole worn around her. Thank you. Just to give you a glimpse of our handlooms through the ages. Thanks, Priya.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Thank you, Madhu.
My pleasure.
Now, we have with us the inimitable Chintakindi Mallesham, the man whose compassion for his mother drove him to attempt the impossible and gave him the courage to pursue his dream against all odds for 7 long and tough years. Let's hear the story of the Asu machine from him and how it has revolutionized the Pochampalli Ikat weaving process. Mallesham Garu, for the sake of Mallesham and others, I want to ask him in Telugu, if you permit me.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Mallesham Garu.
Namaste Andi.
Namaste Andi. మీరు ఆసు మిషన్ ని మొట్టమొదటిసారిగా తయారు చేసి ప్రవేశపెట్టారు. ఇలాంటి మిషన్ ఇంతకు ముందు ఎక్కడా లేదు. ఇలా ఉంటే బాగుంటుంది అని ఊహించుకొని తయారు చేసినట్టున్నారు. అండ్ అలా ఊహించుకోవటానికి మిమ్మల్ని ప్రేరేపించిన పరిస్థితులు కానీ, సంఘటనలు కానీ ఏమన్నా ఉన్నాయా? ఉంటే మా మెంబర్స్‌కి మీరు ఎక్స్‌ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తారా?
షూర్, తప్పకుండా అండి. నేను తెలుగులో మాట్లాడుతాను, దయచేసి అందరూ అర్థం చేసుకోగలరు.
తప్పకుండా, పర్వాలేదండి.
ఓకే. అయితే ఈ మిషన్‌ని కనిపెట్టడానికి ముఖ్య రీజన్ ఏందంటే, నేను వీవర్‌గా పనిచేసాను, మగ్గం నేస్తున్నాను. నేస్తున్నప్పుడు అయితే ఈ పోచంపల్లి చీరలు ఎవరైతే తయారు చేస్తారో ఫస్ట్ ఈ ఆసు వేయడం అనేది ఉంటాయన్నమాట. అంటే ఒక 12.5 కిలోమీటర్ల పొడవు గల దారాన్ని ఒక ఆసు అనే ఫ్రేమ్ ఉంటుంది. అది ముందు సైడ్ ఒక 40 పిన్నులు ఇండివిజువల్‌గా ఉంటాయి. ఒక పిన్ను వెనుకకు ఉంటుంది. దీని డిస్టెన్స్ వచ్చి 4 ఫీట్ ఉంటుంది. అయితే ఈ 4 ఫీట్ల దూరంగా ఇలా చేతిని తిప్పి ఇటు అయితే అలా చుట్టడం వల్ల దాదాపుగా ఒక చీరకు 9,000 సార్లు ఆ చేయి మూవ్‌మెంట్ చేయాలి, ఒక చీర చేయడానికి. ఇలా చేసి బాగా మా అమ్మ ఆ షోల్డర్ పెయిన్ వచ్చి మళ్ళీ ఇంక నేను చేయలేనురా ఈ పని, ఈ బాధ నేను పడలేను. ఇంక నువ్వు వేరే పనికి వెళ్ళిపోయి వేరే పని చేసుకోండి, మన మొగ్గల పని మానేసుకుందాం అన్నారన్నమాట. అప్పుడు నాకు ఆలోచన వచ్చింది. అసలు ఒక చిన్న ఆసు వేయడం కోసము ఈ వృత్తిని ఎందుకు వదులుకోవాలి? వ్యవస్థలో అన్ని రకాల వాటికి మిషన్‌లు ఉన్నాయి గదా! మనం కూడా దీనికి ఏదైనా ఒక మోటార్ పెట్టి చిన్నగా ప్రయత్నం చేసి చేత్తో కాకుండా చేసేటట్టుంటే బాగుంటుంది గదా అనిపించి నాకు ఆ ప్రయత్నం మొదలుపెట్టాను. మొదలుపెట్టినప్పుడు అంటే అది ఎట్లా చేయాలో నాకు తెలవదు. కాకపోతే ఏమేమి చేయాలని తెలుసుకోవడానికి మా అమ్మ పోసే ఆ ఆసుని నేను పోయడం నేర్చుకొని, దీంట్లో ఇన్ని రకాలుగా ఉన్నాయా? ఇది చేస్తే దీని తర్వాత ఇది చేస్తే బాగుంటుందని చెప్పేసి దాంట్లో ఒక 5 భాగాలుగా విభజించుకొని ఒక్కొక్క భాగాన్ని ఒక్కొక్క సంవత్సరంలాగా అట్లా దాదాపుగా ఒక 7 సంవత్సరాలు కష్టపడి ఆ యంత్రాన్ని రూపొందించడం జరిగింది.
ఓకే అండి. మల్లేశం గారు.
మేడం మాట్లాడండి, అడగండి క్వశ్చన్.
ఓకే అండి. ఇప్పుడు ఈ ఆసు మెషిన్ కి పవర్ లూమ్ కి డిఫరెన్స్ ఏమన్నా ఉందా అండి?
కాదు. అంటే పవర్ లూమ్ అనేది డిఫరెంట్. ఇది హ్యాండ్లూమ్‌కు అంటే ఫ్రీ లూమ్ వర్క్ అన్నమాట. అంటే అనుబంధంగా ఈ ఆసుబోసి రంగులద్ది, డిజైనర్‌పై రంగులద్ది ఆ తర్వాత మగ్గానికి వెళ్తుంది దారం. కానీ పవర్ లూమ్ వేరు. పవర్ లూమ్ అనేదేమో ఏకంగా బట్టనే తయారు చేస్తున్నది. కానీ ఈ ఆసు మిషన్ బట్ట తయారయ్యేది ఆ దారాన్ని ప్రాసెస్ చేస్తుందన్నమాట. దారాన్ని ఒక క్రమ పద్ధతి ప్రకారంగా ఎన్ని దారాలు కావాలో అన్ని దారాలు చుట్టుకోవడానికి ఈ యంత్రం ఉపయోగపడుతుంది. ఆ హ్యాండ్లూమ్ అనేది అదే బటన్ చేస్తాము, చేత్తో చేస్తాము. అది పవర్ అటాచ్ చేస్తాము, మనిషి అవసరం లేకుండా అది యంత్రం ద్వారా జరుగుతుంది.
మీరు తీసుకొచ్చిన ఈ రివల్యూషనరీ ఇన్నోవేటివ్ మెషిన్ వల్ల ఒక్కసారి తయారు చేసే టైంలో అంటే ఎక్కువ సారీస్ తయారు చేయగలుగుతూ ఉంటుంటారు కదండి వీవర్స్. అంటే టైం చాలా సేవ్ చేసుకుంటారు.
అయితే ఇంత పూర్వము చేత్తో చేసేవాళ్ళు ఒక చీరకు అలా దారం చేయడానికి 4 నుంచి 5 గంటల సమయం పట్టేది. ఈ మిషన్ ద్వారా ఒక 1.5 అవర్‌లోనే ఒక చీర సరిపోయే దారం ప్రిపేర్ చేస్తున్నది. అయితే దానివల్ల ఏమైందంటే వాళ్ళు ఇంతకుముందు 1, 2 మగ్గాలకు అందించుకునేవాళ్ళు. అంటే ఆ పని సరిపోయేది కుటుంబంలో. ఈరోజు ఏమైందంటే ఒక్క మిషన్ ఉంటే ఒక 10 మగ్గాలకు సరిపోయేంత దారాన్ని ఇది ప్రాసెస్ చేసేయగలుగుతుంది. దాంతోనే వాళ్ళ మగ్గాల స్థాయిని పెంచుకొని వాళ్ళ అభివృద్ధి కావడానికి ఈ మిషన్ దోహదపడింది. ఒక పోచంపల్లి వ్యవస్థలోనే ఒక పెద్ద విప్లవం తెచ్చిందంటే ఈ యంత్రం.
దాని వల్ల వాళ్ళ ఆదాయం పెరిగి ఆర్థిక పరిస్థితులు కూడా మెరుగుపడి ఉంటాయి కదండి.
ఇప్పుడు ప్రొడక్షన్ పెరిగిందంటే వాళ్ళ ఆదాయం పెరిగినట్టు. అయితే కొన్ని సందర్భం ఏంటంటే ఇది ఎంతవరకు ప్రయోజనం ఇస్తుందంటే ఇది ఉత్పత్తి పెంచడానికి ప్రయోజనం ఇస్తుంది. ఇంకా మార్కెట్ విషయానికి వస్తే అది ఎక్కువ తక్కువ అనేది వాళ్ళు చూసుకుంటారు. కానీ ప్రొడక్షన్ పెంచడానికి ఈ మిషన్ మాత్రం చాలా ఉపయోగపడ్డది. అసలు ఇండస్ట్రీలో ఈ రోజు ఆసు యంత్రం లేకపోతే మగ్గాలు నడిపియలేము అనే పరిస్థితులు వచ్చేసారు. అంత ఉపయోగకరంగా వచ్చింది అది.
ఇప్పుడు ఇలాంటి పరిస్థితులు అంటే ఇక్కడ ఇంత ఇంప్రూవ్మెంట్ వచ్చిన పరిస్థితిలో యువత అంటే వీవర్ కమ్యూనిటీలో ఉండే యువత మీకు వారసత్వంగా వచ్చిన ఈ వీవ్ ఆర్ట్ని కానీ లెగసీని కానీ కంటిన్యూ చేయడానికి ఇష్టపడుతున్నారండి ఇప్పుడు? అంటే ఇంత ముందుకి ఇప్పటికి ఏమన్నా చేంజెస్ కనిపిస్తున్నాయా? ఎస్పెషల్లీ
అయితే ఒకటి ఇక్కడ ఏముందంటే ఇప్పుడు మొన్నటి వరకు గత ఒక 4 years నుంచి వెళ్ళి అంటే 14 తర్వాత నుంచి వెళ్ళి ఇటువంటి ఈ 5-6 years ఈ హ్యాండ్లూమ్ బాగా నడిచినప్పుడు ఎవరైతే మా కమ్యూనిటీ పిల్లలు వదిలిపోయి వెళ్ళిపోయారో అందరు తిరిగి వచ్చారు మళ్ళీ. అంటే మన ఇండస్ట్రీలో బాగుందని. కాకపోతే దీంట్లో ఉన్న ఒకటి నష్టం ఏంటంటే ఈ ఇండస్ట్రీ ఎప్పుడు ఒకేలా ఉండదన్నమాట. అంటే ఒక 2-3 సంవత్సరాలు బాగా నడిచిందంటే ఇంకో 2-3 సంవత్సరాలు గ్యాప్ వస్తుంది. ఇది ఎట్లా ఉంటుందంటే ఒక్కొక్క ప్రాంతంలో ఒక్కొక్క ప్రత్యేకతమైన వస్త్రాలు తయారు చేస్తాం. మన పోచంపల్లి ఒకటి, ధర్మవరం ఒకటి, కంచి ఒకటి, బనారస్ ఒకటి. అయితే ఈ వ్యవస్థలు ఎట్లంటే కొన్ని పరిస్థితుల్లో కొన్ని వ్యవస్థలకు మాత్రమే డిమాండ్ ఉంటుంది, మిగతా వాటికి తక్కువ ఉంటుంది. ఈరోజు పోచంపల్లి ఉన్నప్పుడు మొన్నటి వరకు గద్వాల లేదు, కంచి లేదు, ఈ ప్రాంతాలన్నీ డిమాండ్ తక్కువ ఉన్నాయి. అయితే అక్కడ డిమాండ్ ఉన్నప్పుడు మనకి తక్కువ ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. అంటే ఇది 360 రోజులు అన్ని సంవత్సరాలు ఒకేలాగా ఉండదు కాబట్టి కొంచెం వెనుక ముందు అయిపోయి కొంతమంది వెళ్ళిపోయారన్నమాట రాకుండా. అయితే ఇప్పుడు అయితే ఈ 5 సంవత్సరాల్లో చాలా మంది చదువుకున్న పిల్లలు కూడా వచ్చి ఈ మగ్గాలు పెంచుకొని వాళ్ళు మగ్గాలు నేర్పించి నా దగ్గర ఎంతో మంది మిషన్లు తీసుకుపోయారు వాళ్ళు. ఆ రకంగా ఉపయోగపడుతుంది బాగా.
మంచిదండి. మీరు చేసిన ఈ ప్రయత్నం వల్ల ఎంతో మంది జీవితాలను మీరు అంటే వాళ్ళని చాలా ఇంప్రూవ్ లైఫ్ స్టైల్ని క్వాలిటీ ఆఫ్ లైఫ్ ని మీరు ఇంప్రూవ్ చేయగలిగారు. మేమందరం మీకు సాల్యూట్ చేస్తున్నామండి.
అంత మాట వద్దు మేడం.
మీరు
అంటే మాకేదో అనుకుని చేశాము, మా మదర్ కోసం అనుకుని మేము ప్రయత్నం చేశాము. అది కమ్యూనిటీలో మొత్తం అందరు తల్లులు చెల్లెల కోసం అది ఉపయోగపడింది. దీని ద్వారా నేను ఒకటి అంటే గర్వంగా చెప్పాలి ఏంటంటే మా కమ్యూనిటీలో పిల్లలకి ఎట్లా ఉండేదంటే ఇంతకుముందు అంటే 10th క్లాస్ అయిపోయిందంటే అమ్మాయిలకు ఆసు వేయడం నేర్పేవాళ్ళు, అబ్బాయి అయితే మొగ్గ నేర్పేవాళ్ళు నేను చిన్న ఉన్నప్పుడు. అయితే ఈ మిషన్ వచ్చిన తర్వాత అమ్మాయిలందరినీ చదివించడం మొదలుపెట్టారు. అంటే ఈ మిషన్ వచ్చింది కదా తనకు పోసే అవసరం లేదు, అక్కడ ఆమె ఖాళీగా అయింది. ఆ తర్వాత ఆమెను చదువుకుపోయడం మొదలుపెట్టారు. అట్లా చదువుకున్న నా మిషన్ తీసుకొని ఒక అమ్మాయి అంటే ఆసు పని నేర్చుకునే పరిస్థితుల్లోనే నా మిషన్ తీసుకొని ఆమె చదువుకొని ఒక ఇంజనీర్గా అయిన తర్వాత నాకు కాల్ చేసింది, మల్లేశమన్న మీ యంత్రం తీసుకున్న తర్వాత నేను ఫ్రీ అయ్యి నేను ఒక చదువుకోని ఉద్యోగం చేయగలుగుతున్నాను, అది మీ యంత్రం వల్ల అన్నారు. అంటే అప్పుడు నాకు నిజంగా చాలా సంతోషం అనిపించింది. అంటే పరోక్షంగా ఇంతమంది అమ్మాయిలకు ఒక జరిగింది అనిపించింది అన్నమాట. అది అనుకోకుండా భగవంతుడు మన వల్ల ఆ రూపకం కల్పించాడు. అవకాశం నాకు దొరికినందుకు సంతోషపడుతున్నానండి.
నమస్తే అండి మల్లేశం గారు. ఇది ఇంకా పెరిగి ఇంకా ఎంతో మందికి ఉపాధి కల్పించాలని కోరుకుంటున్నామండి. నమస్తే.
ఓకే మేడం, నమస్తే అండి.
Usha, can I step in with a quick English recap of what the conversation was?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, Nanda has very kindly translated and it's in the chat box. I'll just read it out for everybody's convenience.
Yeah.
So, Chintakindi Mallesham garu, with your permission, English lo translate chestunam meer cheppindi. The reason for me to invent the machine was this. We had to turn and twist a hand at least 1,000 times for each sari. Looking at my mother's difficulty and shoulder pain, I worked hard for 7 years and created this ASU machine, which has 7 components. So it felt like I spent a year on each of the components. ASU machine processes thread, whereas power looms, they weave the sari. This is for the second question that Usha asked about the difference between power loom and ASU machine. ASU machine processes thread in just 2 hours for 1 sari. So the weaving industry was able to supply to more than, they used to actually supply to 2 magams at that time, but now they're able to supply to 10 in that place. So that's how the ASU machine has improved their productivity. And now it's like people are, they do not know how to operate without an ASU machine with them. Now, because the industry has improved, kids are coming back, kids and youth essentially are coming back to the weaving industry. But as business is variable, some are continuing and some have left. But we are seeing a trend of people coming back because there's a lot of creativity that we are observing now. Though I invented this machine for my mother, I now see a lot of women benefiting from it because a lot of women weavers are in this sector. So that was what it was.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nanda, also.
Yeah, thank you, Nanda. And yeah, I mean, Malaysian, his efforts to create a better source of income for the Pochampalli weavers has been acknowledged widely, and rightly so. We salute his spirit and hope that your endeavor will continue to bear fruits. Now, I'm going to Mamata Reddy. The Kalamkari saris we drape ourselves in today owe their transformation largely to the efforts of one person, that is Mamata Reddy. The world knows her as a revivalist of Kalamkari hand painting, working with only handlooms. I'm so glad we have her with us this afternoon. Mamata, please give us a little history of Kalamkari and in particular about how the saris have become wardrobe must-haves for Indian women.
Thanks for the opportunity, Ma. Kalamkari is like kalam means pen, kari means work. The work done with kalam is called it's done. It's a freehand painting with natural dyes. The art is originated in Srikalahasti. In olden days, the Kalamkari hand painting fabric is used in front of the deity while offering the prasadam. So it's a temple hanging basically with freehand painting. And it is also called Chitrapatam, where the villagers in the free time, they used to listen to the stories depicting all the Rama, Krishna, mythological themes like Ramayana, Mahabharata and Bhagavatam. Seeing the pictures, they used to illustrate the story of the mythological themes. So nearly 23 years back, I met with one of the painters from Srikalahasti. Then they used to do only wall hangings. So then I just want to learn the process and everything. During the process, I came to know that this is a dyeing art, because paintings nobody is buying in those days. So I started doing cushion covers and dupatta, and after 3 years I started doing on saris. So experimenting with saris is a big task for us. It's on trial and error. We started doing on Mangalgiri cotton and tussars and pure khadi fabric. When I started doing a sari, lot of people objected me, why you are depicting a god figure on a sari. I want to explain, like basically Kalamkari, the stories will be either depicting Ramayana, Mahabharata or Bhagavatam or Tree of Life. So I used to tell them, like, if you want to revive an art or some dyeing art, you have to keep the designs authentic, do the process in the same way, and then we can, in that way, we can keep the art alive, and at the same time, we can go ahead with the painters, like how they want to do, like in an original way and all the things. So working with designers like Sabyasachi, Gaurang, Shashikant Naidu made me to think differently in design aspect. So when you are buying a Kalamkari sari, you are not buying a piece of cloth, you are buying a piece of art, which you can pass to the next generations. So when you buy a sari, just see if it's original Kalamkari or a duplicate Kalamkari. So be aware of like what is original and what is duplicate. So
Okay, thank you, Mamata, for being the brave
thank you, Ma.
heart behind making so many Indian women feel beautiful in Kalamkari.
Thank you.
Now, Madhu has a question for you. Madhu, unmute yourself. Madhu,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Mamta.
Namaste, ma.
Namaste. Were you always an artist?
I finished my graduation in mathematics, ma.
Oh. So
and
how
my
did
mother
you...
is my inspiration, ma. My mother is my inspiration.
Okay.
So,
was she an artist?
No, she is a physical director, but she used to wear lovely Gadwal saris and Kanjivaram saris, ma. We are from Tirupati, so Tirupati is basically 3 hours journey to Kanjivaram, and 1.5 journey to Venkatgiri.
Okay, all the beautiful places.
Yeah, beautiful saris I used to see from when I grew up with, like seeing all the Kanjivarams and Venkatgiris. Most of the saris are Venkatgiris.
So what made you switch to from mathematics to art?
I visited one of the Lepakshi exhibitions, ma.
Ah, okay.
So then this painter was sitting with a beautiful piece of art, which is very, it's a Rama Pattabhishekam theme, and it's a 9 feet by 9 feet wall hanging. So it's a, I can't explain the beauty of it, the natural colors they have used. In olden days, they used to bleach the cloth with cow dung and everything. So then I came to know about the process and everything. So then he was like telling there is no business. So how many days they worked on that particular piece, but there is no business because of like itna bada wall kisi ke paas nahi hota hai, people are not taking. Then I said, like, can you get some cushion covers done for me? So I sat with the weaver, asked him to a painter, sat with him and asked him to make zodiac signs. That is my first production in Kalamkari.
Okay.
So those 12 zodiac sign cushion covers, I have sent it to my sister and in Bombay. So all her friends started placing the orders.
Lovely.
So then I shifted to dupattas, then to saris.
Tell me, what are the different types of Kalamkari techniques that are practiced these days, and how can one differentiate? One, of course, is your freehand kalam drawing.
Yeah.
And you have the screen stuff, which is not really Kalamkari, isn't it? That's a screen print.
Yeah.
And what else?
There are 2 types of Kalamkari. One is Sri Kalahasti Kalamkari, which is hand painted Kalamkari. That is what I do. And the other one is block printed Kalamkari from Machilipatnam.
Okay.
These are the 2 types of Kalamkaris.
Okay.
These are the traditional authentic Kalamkaris. But nowadays you can see screen printed Kalamkari and digital printed Kalamkari.
I've seen those, yes.
Yeah, so what they are doing is in 2010, in one of the fashion show, Lakme fashion show, Gaurang Shah designed one particular design. It's a village theme and it's a forest theme. So the moment the show is over, within 1 week, the market is flooded with screen printed, same design in screen printed. So it's a big platform to showcase one particular art. At the same time, all the designs are copied into screens and digital printed.
Right.
Basically, they are doing it in Surat and Banaras. Nowadays, they have become so smart. They are doing the outline in screen printing and filling the colors with hand painting, hand.
They're even doing that.
Yeah. So people will think, and they're purposefully doing like thoda idhar udhar colors. They are wantedly they are smudging the colors. So it will look like a hand painting piece.
So is there any way a lay person can perhaps tell a difference?
If you see a hand painted, authentic hand painted cloth, backside of the cloth, like you see, there is no design on the back. This is
Right.
the original side and this is the back side. So the top design will not come on the back side.
Okay.
If you see a digital printed, the back side is also the same design. You can see the reflection of the same piece on the back side also. And in hand painted, there is no single leaf or single face is not repeated. It's all freehand painted with natural dyes. So it's not repeatedly done on the same. If the face is the same, but all the features is not the same. But in screen printing, you can see all the faces in the same expression and everything.
Yes.
And all the leaves in the same size and everything. You can see, if you see, take a dupatta, though the designs are like same, each leaf has its own character. It's like small, big,
Right.
the design is the same. But in screen printed, you can see exactly the same curves and everything.
Uniformity.
And in digital printing, you can notice clearly the figures are not that clear compared to hand painted. Hand painted, we do each and every detail we will give differently, but in digital printed, it's all smudged and it's not that clear.
Right.
And you can make out the colors also.
The colors, of course, you can.
Yeah.
Especially the vegetable dyes.
Yeah. We have basically 4 or 5 colors: black, blue, green, yellow, red, and mehendi. So, but in chemical colors nowadays, they are using all that pinks and magentas and greens and all shocking colors they are using. So you can easily differentiate between authentic Kalamkari and screen printed or basically.
Have you been able, this is a question often asked in the market, especially in North India and Bombay.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been able to do anything to take that smell away?
Smell away, like, yeah, we dip the saris in. The first process is, I love the smell of Kalamkari.
I know.
But a lot of people
love it, and a lot of people object.
They will say, Mamta, what is this whack smell is coming in your workshop? I said, it is not whack smell. It's basic, the milk we use.
Yeah, it's the milk.
See, the process is like the second stage. When we wash the cloth in water, we will remove the starch. And second stage is we dip the cloth in cow milk mixed with karakkai powder. So that is the binding agent. So we have to just open the cloth and keep it dry it in the shade. Then the smell will go. Otherwise, what you can do is you can put little bit of karpur wrapped in a paper and put it in the cup.
Okay. Thank you, Mamta.
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you.
Thank
Lovely.
you, Mamta.
Thank you, Ma.
Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah, Gadwal saris hold a place of their own in the hearts of handloom lovers. The earthy colors, the sheer comfort of the fabric, and the understated elegance that exude have all made them an evergreen pick for occasions of every kind. Rajesh Kishore, whole link with Gadwal weaves can be tracked back to generations, will give us a little more insight into what makes Gadwal an eternal favorite. Rajesh Garu, you're here. Please unmute yourself, Rajesh Garu. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. How did Gadwal weaves originate? What is their specialty or uniqueness?
Okay. Completely handmade, ma'am.
Okay.
Telugu maatladachcha Hindi, okay, ma'am.
Okay. Speak in Hindi if you can.
Hindi.
Okay. पहले जो मैन्युफैक्चर पहले कुट्टू में किया. कुट्टू मीन्स कड़ियल. फ्रॉम स्टार्टिंग कड़ियल स्टिचिंग शुरू किया. बाद में सिल्क में. हेलो. हाँ मैडम.
యాక్చువల్గా ఈ గద్వాల్ వీవ్స్ అసలు ఎలా స్టార్ట్ అయినాయి మీ అంటే మీ ఊరి స్పెషల్ ఏమన్నా ఉందా గద్వాల్లో ఇలాంటి వీవర్స్ అంటే ఎక్కడి నుంచి ఎలా మొదలైంది ఈ వీవింగ్ ఆర్ట్ అనేది ఎలా మొదలైంది?
ఫస్ట్ మన టవల్స్ నేసేవాళ్ళు మేడం. ఫస్ట్ అక్కడ టవల్స్ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చర్ అయ్యేది, అది కర్ణాటకకు ప్లే అయ్యేది.
ఓకే.
గద్వాల్లో ఫస్ట్ వీవింగ్ ప్రాసెస్ స్టార్ట్ చేసింది నారాయణ అండ్ ముకాలి నరసింహులు ఒక మెంబర్స్ కలిసి ఆ వీవింగ్ స్టార్ట్ చేశారు. వీవింగ్ స్టార్ట్ అయినప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ కాటన్ నేసేవాళ్ళు అనమాట. ఫస్ట్ గద్వాల్ శారీ అంటే కొనే సిల్క్ గా.
ఓకే.
తర్వాత నెక్స్ట్ కాటన్ తర్వాత దాని కాటన్ తర్వాత సీకో, నెక్స్ట్ సీకో మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చర్ చేశారు అనమాట. సిల్క్ ఇంటూ కాటన్ మిక్స్. తర్వాత ఒక 10-15 ఇయర్స్ తర్వాత సిల్క్ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చర్ చేశారు. ఎక్కడ అంటే కంచెల్లి అక్కడ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చర్ చూసి కంచిలో సిల్క్ తయారు చూసిన తర్వాత మళ్ళీ గద్వాల్కి వచ్చిన తర్వాత సిల్క్ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరింగ్ స్టార్ట్ చేశారు అనమాట. కానీ ఇప్పటివరకు గద్వాల్లో కుట్టు ఫేమస్ మేడం. సెల్ఫ్ అనేది చాలా తక్కువ. 100% లో ఓన్లీ 10% సెల్ఫ్ మొగ్గాలు ఉన్నాయి. అంత ఇంటర్లాక్ సిస్టమ్ కుట్టు మీన్స్ ఇంటర్లాక్ సిస్టమ్.
Can I explain?
Kadiyal.
Yes, Gaurav.
Please, Gaurav.
The beauty of Gadwal is it started from the history. If you see, it started, the main Gadwal sarees were woven in cotton. So the beauty of Gadwal is, number one is cotton. Number two, it is a 3-shutter loom where the body color and the border color are separate. They are interlocked while weaving. The body and the border are interlocked. And the pallu is also interlocked. So you get a body separate color, the border and the pallu as a separate color. And then they started playing with textures. The body was cotton by cotton and the border and the pallu was silk by silk. So they can attain and achieve that by joining the body curve warp and the silk warp in the pallu. This is how it is. You see the body is cotton in the biscuit color, the border is pink into pink, and the pallu is also pink into pink. So the traditional Gadwals were always cottons with a silk border. And the designs like the influence of Kanjivaram has been there always in Gadwals. So their borders were very small, say about 3 inches in size. They had beautiful peacock motifs, Rudraksh motifs, the traditional deep colors. And that's how it has evolved. So when people started wearing more of Gadwals, they wanted different kinds of saris, the weavers introduced cotton by silk in the weft. And then they found that silk is little easier to weave than cotton. So they went on to silk by silk, which is the most easy for them. So they have now forgotten the cotton by cotton sari. So, but the basic influence of the Gadwal is the designs are from Kanjivaram.
Okay.
And the beauty of Gadwal is the contrast borders, what they can achieve. And that same technique is also followed in Kanchi.
Okay.
Thank you. That was nicely put.
Thank you. Thank you, Gaurang. Now I'm switching to Gaurang. Okay, Gaurang needs no introduction to Hyderabad or even India. I wouldn't be exaggerating if I said that this self-taught designer was single-handedly instrumental in creating Jamdani Weaver's Wave. It is a matter of pride for all of us that this young designer from our city continues to be a champion of livelihood for 800 and more weaver families across the city. So, Gaurang?
Across India.
Yeah, okay. It is a common lore that you had designer dreams at the tender age of 8. From then to now, give us a glimpse of what it took to become Gaurang Shah, the internationally renowned designer and textile revivalist.
So many of you know me. You have seen me from a very young age.
Yes.
You have seen me at my father's store in Bashirbagh in the matching center. So after school, my brother and me used to go there to help my father. And that was about 8-9-year-old I was. And that was the time when handlooms was at its peak. You could see other women used to get their beautiful hand-woven Kanjivarams, Banarsis, Gadwals, all different kinds of saris, all beautiful hand-woven saris for blouse matching, because those times the saris never had blouses in them. So you used to get them to match the 2x2 material for it. And that artist in me started growing when I saw those saris, like it was like a 6 meters of canvas in front of me where I can design anything I want. And what better way than the Jamdani technique of weave, where every centimeter of the sari I can change my design, my color thread, my yarn, my textures, my colors, anything I can play with. Jamdani is such a beautiful technique originating from Bangladesh, coming to India, and I'm at present working in about 6 different villages in India. Each village weaving Jamdani in their own way, each having their own distinct, you can say the technique is similar, but the way the whole outlook comes out. And that is what has grown in me since over so many years. My mother used to wear beautiful saris. She had a very good eye for saris. And whole day I was surrounded in the matching center with these beautiful ladies wearing saris. And for me, like, saris is my first love. Somehow that has grown in me over the years. And today also, like many people say, Gaurang, go into little Western wear, do more of your outfits, more ghagras. I said, no, saris is always going to be me. They are going to be me until I am there. At least handlooms and saris are never going to go out of fashion.
And that's how India got her one-stop textile encyclopedia. Madhu, you can take the next person to Gaurang.
Gaurang, actually, you have answered most of my questions, but I want to say one.
Once I start, I won't stop then.
Good, that's good. I want to say something besides asking you a question. I've followed you for years. I've been 46 years in this line. And you are the first person who came out with such beautiful designs. I really admire you as a designer, because most designers go into Western things. What about our beautiful stuff? These are the clothes we wear. You're the first one, and you deserve a standing ovation, always. I saw I'm not saying it to flatter you. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. You have done remarkable work in this field. You will speak. Sorry?
I go and talk at lots of fashion institutes, textile institutes. I address lots of students also. And every time I ask them in the whole gathering of the students, how many of you would like to work with weavers? Half-heartedly, only about 1 or 2 hands come up. And I say, everyone wants to copy only the West. We have such beautiful heritage in India. India is the only country where so many different kinds of weave. Every few kilometers, you will get a different kind of textile to experience. And why do you want to go to West? Why do you want to use the Chinese materials? Why do you want to do those gowns? Sari, such a beautiful garment you have got. Indian women, Indian body structure is as such. It's the sari which takes out the beauty more better. And why do you want to copy the West?
Lack of foresight, and really it's more imitation, if I may say so.
One point you had made in the beginning about the marketing, how in Vietnam they have marketed them. India, we don't market our product very well.
Exactly.
We have so much here, and it's like the marketing is zero. Only when a Western country is appreciating you, then people come and say, wow, Arey, Gaurang, you have done such a good job.
Correct. So hats off. No questions, but I really want to salute you.
Thank you.
I think you deserve that.
Thank you.
May there be more people like you. Thank you, Gaurang.
I hope I can get more people to train like this.
We will talk about it later.
I have another question for you. Of course, it is a simple question. And I know the answer can be limitless. What's your design inspiration, Gaurang?
It's anything, Amma. It's anything. My daily life, every day. Like, I don't know, but I get my design inspirations at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning. I'm a very early riser. You can ask Mamta. My messages go to her at odd times. To my weavers, to my persons who are drawing. I just keep getting ideas. For me, it is that I need to create new every day.
Okay. So, well, they say that art imitates nature. So no wonder that you inspired many others, Gaurang. And, and you should take it as the homage to your original brilliance.
Thank you.
Now over to Madhu. Madhu, do you have I think you have other person with you.
There is a small question. Apart from saris, Gaurang, what else do you feel may work in keeping the handloom alive? I mean, I know this is not your work, but since you have the passion and a genuine understanding of the subject, is there something you would like to suggest?
Other day, I was watching a Zoom meeting between Sadhguruji and Smritiji. And Sadhguruji had given a very good important point of how to give weavers more work, how to get more works to these weavers. And he had suggested, why don't we, the ministry and all of us, get together, and the school children who wear those polyester shirts and shorts or pants, why don't we get the schools to dictate to them that we get a handloom uniform made for children?
That is a very good
Very
point.
good point. We have hundreds of thousands of schools in India. Imagine a school in Telangana, in Hyderabad, promoting Pochampalli shirt and a short plain cotton ka Pochampalli cotton, thick cotton ka shorts or pants.
Right.
You are promoting your handloom. Plus, number one, the polyester shirt, the terracotta shirt is harmful to your skin. Whereas your pure hand woven cotton or khadi shirt is so good for your skin.
Yes. Yes.
So you are killing two birds with one stone. Your weavers are getting work, and at the same time, your children are wearing a good hand woven clothing. At the same thing, the government people, the staff working at the government secretariat and these government offices, why don't you tell them to wear only handloom saris or handloom shirts? They can, anyhow, the government has those khadi emporiums, which are very, very reasonably priced. Even the big corporate companies can come up with their uniforms in their hand-woven fabrics.
Yes.
So imagine all the weavers will get so much of work. So much of work is generated here because of everyone wearing handloom.
True.
And today handloom, it is available from say around 100 rupees meter to goes into thousands. And the 100 rupees meter is pure hand woven, pure khadi, pure cotton, which is washable and lasts long and long and long.
Yes, it really lasts well.
That fabric to create outfits, and believe me, the outfits which I make and give to my customers, they don't come to me back for 2 years because they say कि तेरा fabric इतना अच्छा है, हम धोते जाते और पहनते जाते, इतना comfortable, हमको अभी नहीं चाहिए. So I have, मेरा business कम हो गया उसकी वजह से. But इतना अच्छा लगता है ये सुन के कि my fabric is lasting and lasting and lasting.
How about the maintenance, Gaurang? I mean, if it is
maintenance, you are wearing my sari. What is any problem in the sari? You just wear it, iron it.
I wear it very occasionally, but if it comes to school uniforms.
School uniform, that's what I'm saying. The washable khadi fabrics are available in the market. Weavers make beautiful fabrics. Take the case of your Pochampalli also. Pochampalli makes beautiful cottons. Like in the beginning, when you show the slides of all your people wearing saris and ikkat kurtas, where they're not washable, the ikkat kurtas.
Yes.
That's pure cotton, right? 120 count, 150 count cottons they are. And they are all washable. Each and every state in India has that kind of looms where these kind of fabrics are made. You go to Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, you go to any state. Every state weaves these cotton fabrics. And the person staying in the state, the school, the offices of the state can give those weavers the work and promote their state.
Okay, that's good. Gaurang, I have another question. We all have Hyderabadi people. We have had a glimpse of your Raja Ravi Verma project. Now Pan India members are also joined, and many people are watching this program. And can you take us through that very quickly?
So this is a very good and very unusual project I got into. My friend Lavina Baldota from Hospet and me had got an idea of weaving, taking art into textiles. I had a great chance of getting Mr. Lakshman Ele, great artist from Hyderabad, his 6 paintings into weaving. And Lavina ji had bought one of those saris and she loved the whole idea of creating art on textiles, the way I had replicated the painting, exactly the same expressions I could get, the folds of the sari, the designs of the sari of the lady, and the way it was woven. And then she said, Gaurang, let's get together and let's create something which we will take it to the international world. We'll take it to all the museums. We can showcase what India is capable of, what the weavers of our great country are capable of. And then she came up with this idea of why don't we weave Raja Ravi Varma, because he was known for he's like Gandhiji is the father of the nation. He's like father of all the artists we call. And the way he weaves his painting, the way he paints his paintings, the ladies in those paintings were all wearing only saris. So that was what attracted both of us, and we decided that yes, we are going to recreate Raja Ravi Varma's paintings. And we started this project. This whole project started in 2015 February. The planning stage took about 8 to 10 months. And then Lavina ji had given me an instruction that we will release this whole project in the Bombay Museum on 2nd October 2019, which was Gandhiji's birth anniversary, 150th birth anniversary. So it will be an homage to Gandhiji. So it has to be woven only in the finest of khadi. It has to have only natural dyes. So she had given all these instructions, and yes, it was very difficult. First, when I saw Ravi Varma's painting, I said, my God, this is 100 times more difficult than Mr. Lakshman Ele's paintings. But that is what is, I love the challenges. And the whole planning started. And by 2016, we were ready to start dyeing the yarn. The yarn was dyed by my friend in Ajrakpur, Mr. Junaid Khatri. And it took about 7 months to get the 600 shades what we needed. We dyed 200 kgs of yarn. Yarns were all of different kinds. I had Muga, Tussar, raw silk, Matka, silk, Khadi, and all those yarns. And then by chance, the weaving also started right on time. And by 2019, we could finish 30 saris. Wow. If you would like, I can show you a small video of the project. Just a second. Shraddha, can you help me? I'm bad at. 1 second. Shraddha, please. Exit full.
Yeah.
Music. You can see the way we have woven this painting. You can see the expressions. Ganesh ji, which Riddhi Siddhi this is. Generally, loom, the weaving happens in geometrics. It's a square. The warp is straight, the weft is straight. But you can see we have got the fluid lines of circles, the facial expressions.
Beautiful.
So I had taken 3 concepts of Ravi Varma: the women of Ravi Varma, the gods of Ravi Varma, and the godly stories. So this is a story of Ram Sita Swayamvar, that Sita clinging to her father. According to Ravi Varma, Sita was only 5 years old when she got married. You can see the outline details, the black thread what I've used to get the expressions and the body structure and all right. So that is like a single thread of warp lifted to put the jamdani and weave it. The jewelry was woven with silver and gold zari. Like each and every expression, like in one of the painting, it was about Radha Krishna. The Radha's sari was little transparent and she was wearing a pearl necklace. So half of the necklace was showing and the neck, and half had gone inside the sari. So the way we wove it, and it was exactly the same thing in the painting. From the transparency of the sari, the necklace was showing. And this is the display at the NGMA Museum, Bombay, where we had done this, the first show. And I'm still continuing weaving the saris. I have started with a new series of his paintings. Then first piece will be ready on October 2, which will be released at the Baroda Museum.
I think you've robbed everybody of words, Gaurang.
Thank you.
Neither Usha nor Madhu have a comeback right now.
It's so beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
It's like another
Exquisite work.
Yes. So beautiful.
Any questions from the audience?
Yes, I think, Madhu, are you going to sum up and hand over to Priya?
I can do that.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
And Priya will take Q&A.
Yes.
Today, we shared the extraordinary history of our weaving creativity. Creativity is as important as knowledge and technique, and innovation is an important part of creativity. You've just seen Gaurang's innovations. We as a people have to pay attention to this seriously. It's not enough to say, we want to save the weavers, we want to save the weavers. Well, do something about it, seriously. More innovative young designers should be brought in to design for more people. And as Gaurang suggested, I think it's a really good idea to perhaps suggest our hand weaves for school uniforms. They breathe, they are comfortable. I'll give you a short story of a doctor I met once. He's my orthopedist. He'd studied abroad, very hi-fi, only wore designer clothes. And one day, he knew what I did. One day when I'd gone for a consultation, he was wearing a handloom shirt. I kept quiet, I didn't say anything. So he says, I wore it because you were coming. You're always telling me to try this material. He had gone to Chennai for an eye camp, and when he came back, when he was leaving, a weaver who had been his patient presented him with 6 pieces for a shirt. So he took them home, told his wife to give them to the staff. She didn't. She had a shirt made for him. And she said, wear it when you go to Chennai next. The weaver will be happy. He said, Madhuji, when I wore it, that whole day, I was so comfortable. I came home and gave away all my Zodiac and all the designer clothes. I said, in future, I'll only wear this. This is about 6 years ago. He was completely converted. So yes, we have to introduce the people to these textiles. It's not enough to talk about it. And the second thing, which I feel is very, very important, is the marketing, the correct marketing of the handlooms that we have. You know, we haven't lost. The handloom industry will not die. It can't. There are enough of us passionate people around. And this is not the end. It's just a place where the story of handloom may have halted, stopped for the time being. I want to thank you, Usha, Priya, and all the wonderful ladies at the FLO Hyderabad for having me here with you for a very interesting session. What a pleasure it was, Gaurang, to hear you, to see your marvelous work. And Mamta, your journey was equally fascinating. Thank you, Rajesh. And wonderful to see and hear Malesham tell us about his great innovation, the ASU machine. Thank you once again for having me with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madhu. That was riveting. I'm sure everybody would agree. And what an unfurling of information and emotion just there. And moving on to our question answers, we have Nilofer Rustamji from Colonial Collections. Thank you, Nilofer, first of all, for sponsoring today's conversation. She has a question for Gaurang. We also celebrate Indian craftsmanship, and we would love to promote natural Indian woven fabrics for upholstery, not just cushions and accessories. Have you tied up or are you planning to collaborate with any upholstery fabric companies to promote handloom upholstery for interiors? Gaurang, that's for you.
So I was myself coming up with a Gaurang home collection where I was getting jamdani cushions and bedspreads woven. I was getting nice chicken curry done. I was getting kota jamdani cushions woven. But somehow as I said, my first love is saris. I started making those cushions and everything. I have my stocks ready, but still then back to saris. But I'm not collaborating with anyone right now. But if I get a chance, and maybe yes, in the future.
That would be wonderful, Gaurav, because I feel that in the business of upholstery, where in a single project, almost 1,000-meter fabric requirement is there, it could really scale up the entire effort and the fantastic, as well as the fantastic work that you all are doing. You know, so I thought, since you're so innovative in the way you design and think.
So my work, somewhere again, why I stopped my home collection was because my work, my each sari takes about anywhere between 7-8 months to 2 years to weave. For home, like creating, like you said, you need 1,000-meter for something. It's not possible in handloom, especially the designs what I do. Other than that, yes, there is lots of scope for weavers to start working with home furnishings, and we can think of doing something great.
Okay, thank you. I look forward to that.
The next question, Madhuji, is for you. So, till about a decade ago, Mangalgiri fabrics and even Venkatgiri were a rage. We don't find much of them. Any reason? Now we don't see much of them.
I'm not exactly sure of the reason, but it's something that's bothered me also. Especially Mangalgiri was a great favorite of mine and still is. You don't see most of that quality around anymore. I was talking to Lakshman Rao, who is a very well-known weaver of Mangalgiri, and he was bemoaning the fact that a lot of machine-made stuff is being offloaded in the market and being sold at the same price as the handloom. So the newer buyers who buy Mangalgiri, which has been woven in the machines, don't have the same experience when they wear it, if you understand what I mean. So I feel, and I've been feeling this for a while, that like we have the handloom mark, maybe we should think of putting a machine loom mark also. So people don't get swindled, into buying something which is not what they've really gone to buy. If they want to buy that for a different reason, they are welcome to do so. But I think we need to take this more seriously.
Thank you. That idea, I think, is very good. Sorry, yes, Gaurav.
So there are two reasons why Mangalgiri is almost like finished, Venkatgiri is almost like finished. Number one reason is there were other weavers from other region which started copying Mangalgiri fabric in power loom. So, and it was much cheaper than the Mangalgiri fabric. They used the same design of the border, the famous Nizam border, what they call. And it was the same count of cotton, but it was totally power loom. So it was almost like half the price. So there it's obvious, like lots of storekeepers and all these, they prefer then the power loom because it's less price and more faster production. That's why the Mangalgiri weavers couldn't make much, and there was no sales with handloom Mangalgiri weavers. The second reason was the industrialization near the Mangalgiri village. I had gone long back, almost say about 15 years back, I had gone to Mangalgiri. It was a beautiful small village where weavers were weaving, and I could go to my weaver's house, Lakshman's house only, like Madhuji said, and I got some beautiful designs made with him, fabrics and everything. And then later, I just went recently about 2 years back. It was not a small village at all. It had become like a bigger than Hyderabad city. And before, we have to go from Guntur to Mangalgiri. Before, it was like a jungle kind of a road, not even proper road also. But today you see, it's like become a whole city from Guntur to Mangalgiri. There's nothing like a jungle, not even a tree or anything. So that industrialization now has taken away all the weavers. They have pulled those weavers into working for those big industries, their factories and all. So that's why this whole thing is.
Mamta Garu, you mentioned about working with Mangalgiri saris, right? When you started off, you still work with it?
Yeah. Lakshman is the supplier only. He's the best supplier in Mangalgiri. So
you're still using Mangalgiri saris?
Yeah. 3 days back, I was there with him. I'm developing some dhotis and Kalamkari and Mangalgiri dhotis. So I still work with Mangalgiri.
Mallesham Garu, next question me kosumandi.
Is he there? Yeah.
Is he there? Let me see in the gallery.
Just check.
IT team, can you confirm if he's there? Otherwise, I'll move on to the next. Okay, so let's assume he's not there.
Yeah.
Mamta, so there is a COVID-related question for you.
Yeah, tell me, ma.
You work with a lot of weaver families and, in Kalamkari, the artists. And
Yeah.
how has the pandemic affected them? What's happening?
Kalamkari, we first 1.5 month, it's like luckily I have sent the material to them before the lockdown started. Okay, so Kalamkari, like they sit in the house and they do the work and everything, ma. So it was not affected like inka baane jarigindi because people can't go outside. So petanalu em levu, cinema levu, there is nothing, only TV, and they have to sit in the house. And Kalahasti is a red zone. So painting work wise chala baga jarigindi. After 1.5 months we started I started getting calls, నాకు ఇక్కడ ఇండిగో అయిపోయింది, నాకు కలర్స్ దొరకట్లేదు, షాప్స్ క్లోజ్ చేస్తున్నారు
So
అనేసి.
Mamta gave me good production in June.
Yeah, so Gaurang is happy. So at the same time, Gaurang helped me to get the dyes from Darshan Shah. So dyes is a problem during that 2 months, ma.
So they are continuing to earn and at least
Base wise, production wise, it's doing really well compared to other days. Kada ee pandemic lo కూర్చొని చక్కగా ఇంట్లో కూర్చొని చాలా production is more compared to other months actually.
That's actually
So
good.
there is no, they are earning happily, they are sitting happily and they are earning, ma. That is the only this thing. By God's grace, work is there for everybody. So there is no problem.
Okay, the next question is for Gaurang. This is, I think, quite a basic question, Gaurang. Why did you decide to work with Jamdani weaves mostly?
As I said, the beauty of like there are two different distinct weave techniques in India. One is the jacquard weave and one is the Jamdani weave. In jacquard weave, we have to create a graph which is about 4 inches by 4 inches, and that design is repeated all over the sari. That is like an example is a Kanjivaram sari. Okay. Whereas in Jamdani, since there is no machinery, nothing is there, the design paper is put underneath the warp and the weaver looks at it and weaves it. I can give any length of design. I can create any number of, I can say, like if I create a tree of life, I need not repeat a bird, I need not repeat a flower or a leaf. I can give every 3-4 inches, I can draw a different kind of a flower. Every 3-4 inches, I can do a different kind of bird. Every centimeter, I can give a different color to the flower. I can use different yarns in one flower. Whereas in the jacquard yarn, once the design is set, once suppose you want a red color ka peacock, then you have to keep on weaving the red peacock. Whereas in Jamdani, if I have a peacock which is repeating, I can have the peacock, one peacock in yellow with a muga yarn, one peacock in a tussar yarn in a red color, one peacock in a blue color in a khadi yarn. I can do anything I want. It's like a dream come true for any artist who gets a 6 meters of canvas. Anything can be done on it.
So the weavers understand your vision. Do they have that?
I make them understand my vision over the years. Like when I start working with any new set of weavers, for first 1 or 2 years, I work according to what they demand, what they want. And then slowly I convert them into working with what I demand and what I imagine.
Okay. So Vandana Shekhar is asking, how many colors can be used to
It's
make
a
one
number.
sari?
It's your imagination.
Okay.
Like you can see the Ravi Verma painting. In each painting, there are about 60 colors. Like in the skin, like you saw Ganesh Ji ka painting, which we have woven. There were about 10 different skin tones. So it's unlimited. Every single weft what we put, every single Jamdani what we do can be a different color.
Thank you so much, Gaurang. Thank you, Madhu. Thank you, Mamta Garu.
Thank you, Amma.
Thank you, Mallesham Garu. So what we have understood is that the need of the hour is to promote the finesse of our Indian weavers, to communicate and engage with not just the Indian diaspora, but with the global audience through these evergreen symbols of our cultural expression. With that, I'll hand you over to Umachi Gurupati, our Senior Vice Chair, for the vote of thanks.
Namaste. Last 1.5 hours, it is, very emotional journey. For me in particular, because I was born and brought up in Chirala, and then all around the weaver community, I know every step of, weaving. When Vita was asking Mallesham Garu regarding the ASU machine, I know how the, women used to work, and later on it used to go to the Maggam and down. It is fantastic. Swadeshi is the soul of Swaraj. In this moment, our handlooms and the handloom industry played a pivotal role. It helped to develop not only helped a lot in improving the economic conditions also. Handloom industry, as we discussed earlier, it is the second largest industry in the rural India and providing livelihood to 4.3 million people. Indian handlooms, known for its fineness and unique designs. Handloom textiles contribute a lot to our rich cultural heritage. It has a great potential to contribute both domestically and globally. Today, our panel consists of people who contributed, for handlooms in different ways. Gaurang, you used your imagination and gave an appealing dynamism to fabric and created great number of admirers around the world, and of course clientele also. It is fantastic, your contribution to handlooms. Thank you so much for joining us today. Chintakandi Mallesham Garu, I think ఆయన వెళ్ళిపోయినట్టున్నారు. He proved that determination and dedication makes people to achieve what they're aiming for. For any business, what it requires to go forward is upgradation in the technology. Weaver community will never forget his contribution, and as handloom lovers, we too always remember his contribution. I thank him for joining us today. And Master Craftsman Mamta Reddy Garu, chala thanks andi, mammalni join ayinanduku. Your journey, it's a great journey, and your contribution to Kalamkari and in providing those beautiful artistic saris. I'm a big fan of those Kalamkari saris. Thank you so much for joining us today. And Rajesh Garu, thank you so much. Actually, weavers and craftsmen, the tradition of weaving by hand is part of our cultural ethos. Innovative weavers are the ones with unparalleled flexibility. They bring out the imagination. And Madhu Sood, any product, how good it is, it needs versatility, innovation, and publicity, of course, market support too. Thanking you so much for working towards it and taking us through the history of fabric in our country and also moderating today's program. Thank you very much for joining us. The strength of handlooms, lies in 5 aspects, as we discussed now: market, publicity, innovation in technology, and welfare measures. I think FICCI Ladies Organization it has to take a lead, I think, in marketing and giving enough publicity by wearing that. I think we have to do that for handloom industry. So I thank all our sponsors, Colonial Collections, who does custom-made furniture. Today, founder Nilofer Rastumji joined us. Thank you so much, for the your contribution. And Vandana Shetty is the, hello, thank you Nilofarji for joining us. Vandana Shetty is the sales director for Hyderabad, who's our member. Thank you, Vandana. I also thank Polamon Group, our gold partners, and RBC Worldwide, our branding partners, Pushpam Publications, our gifting partners. I thank all the committee members, IT team, past chairs, fellow FLO members, and media for joining us today. On the eve of Independence Day, let me wish you all a happy 74th Independence Day, and let the day fill with patriotic spirit. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Uma. IT team, can we have the sponsors video, please? Thank you. On behalf of Chairperson Usharani Mane and her committee, I thank you all once again for joining us here today. We have a very active fortnight, as Usha prized us in her speech. So stay alert and updated. Have a peaceful, safe, and healthy Independence Day weekend. Jai Hind.